with those guides. So if you're somebody that struggled previously with connecting with teams, meaning you felt your connection on and off, you felt your connection to your own awareness, those dreams, synchronicities, it's been up and down, we're here to build a solid foundational base and to teach the mechanics behind doing that. And our topic for today is around energetic protectors.
Yes.
So those spirit guides that present as protectors are what we call upholders. And you want to give a little intro to that, Isabel?
Yeah, so I have a few different protectors or upholders in my space, and I'm going to channel in a few of them today, so y'all get to see kind of the difference in their personalities as well. So what they have really supported me with is finding my confidence, is speaking my truth, is upholding boundaries, and putting myself first. And so a lot of different guides in people's spaces have different roles that they will uphold for them. And so in my space, I channel a lot in here. My manager role, ethos, that y'all will see me channel a ton in here. And I channel a lot of my higher self. And one of the other roles of guides is this protector energy to really support you in upholding your intentions in the entirety of your space.
With that, we're going to jump right into a channeling. We'll explain a little bit of what the channeling is and mechanically how we're doing it after we get off. But we'll jump in. I'm thinking we start with Maverick today.
Yeah, let's do
Are you
it.
feeling that? Okay. Sounds good.
Perfect.
If you have questions, or we'll do this actually, before we get in with Maverick, if you have questions for what the role of a spiritual protector does, how to connect to your own, how they work, how they function, why have I had trouble connecting to mine, do I need an energetic protector? Any of these types of questions, whatever comes forward, we'll give a moment for people to ask here before we bring them in.
Yes, if you have any questions for an energetic protector or spiritual guides, let me know, and I'm about to channel one of mine in for y'all. Excited to hear from
good.
Maverick. Oh, beautiful. So excited, Joy. So excited. All right.
And we'll go ahead and get started because I know people will be rolling in as we're going. So we'll start off with bringing him in for him to explain what it is. If you have questions as we go, feel free to add them on. I'll be able to see them on the side.
Yes. All right. Okay, let me grab. We're starting with Mav.
Yes. Hi, Maverick. How are you doing today?
It's good to see you.
Thank you for
Great. How are you?
Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
And everyone that's on with us as well. Our whole focus for today's live or today's video is understanding more of protectors and their role and how we commonly call them upholders now. With that being said, can you talk about your role in Isabel's space to get us started off with, of what role you play for her, so then we can relate that to everyone else's protectors and how they can work for them?
I'd love to. Yes. My dynamic within this space has shifted over the awareness. Initially, I have been here to support in, yes, more of this protector aspect, especially when Isabel was first starting to understand how her vessel channels in spirit directly. This started with a lot of this protection, releasing unaligned energies based on the intentionalities of the space. From there, it has shifted. My role has morphed into one as an upholder. This upholder aspect really comes forth when there is a strong structural base within the mechanics of the system. Now I deeply, just as the other guides, deeply understand and resonate with the intentions of the space and with how energy is looking to be released within the system and what energies are looking to come forth. Now, with that, my system in the protectors is here to help uphold these structures and uphold the intentions that are set rather than simply just defending.
What are a lot of the main roles? And I would say now, but I'm going to focus on when Isabel was younger and starting off working with teams. When she was going back and forth communicating with you, what were the main things you were supporting her with when starting to find her grounding when working with spiritual teams?
Now, I, along with the feminine counterpart of the protectors, helped to instill a sense of confidence within her when she did not feel it on her own, helping her feel safe and secure when she was going into new environments physically, and helping her feel that strength that is already from within. Now, when she began channeling, this is where a lot of the protections astrally came forth in helping to differentiate between what energies are and are not allowed in the auric field and helping maintain that base for her.
With that, we have our first question coming in, so I think we're going to shift into this. Alchemy Architect is asking, what is the main role of protectors in general?
The main role of protectors here is going to be upholding the intentionality of this space. We are very task-oriented beings, not necessarily the informational type which you will find from a lot of your other guides presenting forward. So with that, if your intention is to release any unaligned energies, making sure that you identify what that means to you of unaligned energies, what vibrational signature do they hold? So that way we can help keep your space clean, clear, and upheld for what you are really truly looking for. So you then can establish that deeper connection with the other guides in your space.
Thank you. Tootsie is asking, are we able to communicate with the guides of our children and ask for their protection or for their protectors to work with them? How does that dynamic work?
There is a certain degree of free will here. When you are a soul in a body up until year 7, this is where the soul is still starting to grasp its footings on the earthly cycles and understand the structural integrity of their energetic field. So with that, it is going to be much easier to connect in and communicate with others' guides up until that year 7 mark. Past this mark, there does, to a degree, need to be an aspect of free will if you were looking to connect in directly with that individual's energetic signature. However, if you are just looking to bring forth their protector, that is where you can use the intentions of your space directed towards the manager guide in your field to bring forth that individual's protector. Now understand here, if you are asking that protector to accomplish a certain task for that individual, it is up for that individual to be able to receive and have that implementation of free will to accept this resonance.
Thank you, Maverick. With that being said, can you go deeper into the topic of free will and why? Because a common question that we had, and I'm sure a lot of people have, why don't protectors just come in and automatically help to keep our energy clean? Since we chose them to be here, we know they're present for a lot that are on. Why can't they just naturally do that role of helping our space stay clear?
What is clear to you?
Mm-hmm.
What is unaligned energy to you? Providing those definitions again and again and again not only aligns us energetically, but it aligns the brain with understanding your standards. It aligns the body with understanding your standards. So now you can uphold the space. Notice in each reincarnation cycle that you have, there are different lessons, there are different guides, there are different intentions, there's different uses of free will. So yes, do your protectors and the rest of your energetic team understand how to support you? Absolutely. But when you set these intentions, it actually allows us the space to go in and do this work.
With that, Alchemy Architect is asking, do you delegate tasks to different guides or do they decide?
This is going to be the delegation of tasks primarily for what we label as the manager energy in this space. For our circuit, that is going to be Ethos. When he understands the intention of the vessel, that is his role to delegate which guide these tasks go towards.
So with that being said, to expand on that, if you know what some call as a primary guide, what we call as a manager, if you're aware of that role, can they put pieces into place or bring in guides that are needed in the moment, even if you don't know all of the roles?
Right. Ethos's energy brought forward my signature into the awareness, as well as a multitude of other guides here. You do not necessarily have to directly interact with your protector guide, but as long as there is clear intentionality behind it, and you set this intentionality to the primary guide in your space, now they can take this signature and delegate it to whoever is going to be most supportive and helpful for you in that moment.
Thank you. Savannah, and we had a couple of questions asking, is everybody reincarnated? So the next question that came forward.
Dependent on the soul.
Dependent on the soul. Thank you. This is an interesting question from Danny Pointer. He's asking, why does your guide have to train you instead of you already being fully unified? And I know we commonly have a different perspective on that. If you can dive into how we've worked with teams and what's been successful in this manner.
Right. Now, this is a common misconception that guides hold all of the informational awareness for your vessel. However, when you are stepping into a body, you are also stepping into an agreement with the earthly cycle to uphold vibrational standpoints of free will. Why? Because when you came into this body, you are also allowing the expression of individuality. This is where guides are here actually to support with this authentic expression of the individual. This all stems from the heart center. This is the intent of souls coming to this planetary system to understand, yes, collective awareness, but also individualized awareness and integration as well here. So with that framework in mind, when you are setting the intentionalities, because they're going to be so different from each incarnation cycle you are having, now this is creating a permission-based model in which guides can now actively support your system. If you are not setting parameters, then guides will act almost as a structure that is silently supporting in the background. As soon as you set intentions, parameters, and almost instructions for how you are looking to uphold your space, now we are implementing free will. This allows us the opportunity to now support your system in an energetic manner.
Thanks for clarifying. Thanks for the question, Danny. With that, we're going to pause here, but Maverick, I want to ask, based on everything that's, all the questions that have been brought forward so far, can you give advice, more general advice to those joining us today on how they can work with their protectors and start to feel their own strength?
Working with your protectors, there's a key differentiation between working with primary guides or other guides in your space versus working with the protector energy. Protectors are going to be very task-oriented. being as specific as you possibly can to allow the best and most grounded sense of support. If you are looking to release unaligned energies, and again, I'm going to emphasize this point because it is so impactful to your space. What is an unaligned energy? What does that truly mean for you? And what is it that you are looking to uphold? Because after we release, we must always replace. If you are not having that avenue of replacing, then what many will find is that same unaligned energy will continuously cycle back in again and again and again. Now, before I leave the body here, I'd like to bring Isabel's consciousness a little bit closer because I would like to speak to her, and I feel as though it could resonate with more individuals as well, if that's okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, give me one moment while I have Joshua bring her a little bit closer to the body.
Okay.
As you grow, others around you will have decisions. As you develop and shift and change, as you learn your base and become less reactive because you're understanding you'll find that others around you might seem more reactive, and that's okay. Because as you shift, you're showing others that now they have a decision to make as well. So continuously aligning, putting yourself first, creating those boundaries, and not apologizing for who you are allows you to show up for you. And those who resonate will stay. And those who do not understand, they were never meant to be a part of your path. That is a protector energy. Not pushing away, but upholding you. Remember that.
Thank you for joining. Welcome back. Let me get us oriented here again.
Hi.
Oh, that's way... Okay. Welcome back, Isabel. Thanks everyone for bearing with us here. How did that resonate with you all? The first thing I saw was grifters. We're bringing forward information from what we've learned over the past 8 or so years. Why do we do it? Because it's what moved our life and transformed it into a completely different place. Of being able to feel the support from our guides.
Yeah.
And to being able to lean into those aspects of ourself that are there as well. Guides have never come forward for us or for those that we work with in a way to where we have to follow them. They come forward in a way to, if you would like us to support, we're here.
Yeah.
To show you the strength that you have within. To show you the light, the childlike excitement is what I really want to define there, that you already have, and to show you how to really find yourself within that. With that being said, we had a lot of great questions. I know we didn't get to all of them.
How do guides manifest in our life? Oh, that's a great question.
How do guides manifest in our life? We can take this into the next channeling session here.
Yeah.
With that being said, what I want to go over briefly before we jump in is, what are we doing as far as how we connect? The focus is creating a base within the self first. So not focusing on the third eye immediately to get more and more and more information siblings, but instead, how do we first narrow our focus to those guides that are truly here from our heart, and then develop that connection from there? I'll tell you why. If you've often felt like you get into long spurts of connecting, of feeling guidance, of feeling that support, of getting those intuitive nudges, and it all of a sudden shuts off. Most commonly, it's your body's protective mechanism. Most commonly, it's because we're taking in a lot of information and we're drawing in anything in spirit to come and help us because we may be grasping in that moment. But what we really need are those one or two guides looking for that support. Instead of an auditorium of hundreds all yelling different answers in our ears, which is what commonly we ask for.
Yes. When you ask all of spirit to support me, now you're going to get anything and everything.
How do you know you're not channeling something that's dark and nasty? So that's a great question, Josiah. With that, it's about setting your base first, and you can go into that further.
Understanding first what your energy truly is, and now being able to differentiate between the other energies or signatures that comes forward. It is all about intentionality and structure. So I have set so many different parameters. So I know exactly who is coming in, what their intentionality is, and I have all of my team constantly supporting and upholding my energy as I have others shifting in and out.
And that's essentially the short answer to this.
Yes.
The more longer answer would be, we went through a lot of systems to get our energy aligned first, set up a space internally, have trained our energetic teams for a whole lot of years. There's more to it when it comes to energetic mechanics. The basic answer, though, a lot of intentions.
Yes.
A lot of intentions. But we're here to teach what we are talking about, the mechanics behind the connection. So it doesn't feel random. So we don't get lost as we're connecting. And so we actually feel like we're in control. That's the goal. And that's what stops all of that, which you're bringing forward, their hidden intentions. When you know your intention so strongly, always remember you have free will over your space.
Absolutely.
When you set those intentions, set those boundaries, your team is there to help you uphold those because it's your free will. With that being said, those are great questions related to protectors. So we're going to go in with China. Are you up for that today?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this is a female protector in Isabel's space.
She's going like, I know I don't channel her in here too much. Okay.
See if she's open for that.
She said, yeah, that's fine.
So with that, if you still have lingering questions for how guides can support, specifically energetic protectors on the same coin and upholder, we interchange those names intentionally. Feel free to ask now. We're going to jump in with China in one moment.
Yes.
We're meeting new guides today. How exciting. Absolutely. Absolutely. While you are thinking of questions before we bring them up, quick PSA. Before we get off the end of this live today, we'll have an avenue where we can support those joining us in connecting to their own team in a really direct and immediate way with us supporting. And we also give as many tools as we can as we're going out for how you can start connecting immediately in the moment, because they're there with you. They are there now. It's just learning your system of energetic mechanics, learning the tools that are in your toolbox with your spiritual team of how you uniquely connect. If there were 3 simple steps to do this, everyone would already know by now. It's a little more complicated because you're a little more complicated. That's how we are as humans.
Let me go ahead and bring China in.
Sounds good. All right.
Okay.
We're going to jump into another protector on Isabel's space named China. If you have any questions, still feel free to drop them in. I will be in on the side here. China.
It's good to see you again.
Thanks for joining us in this format. We really appreciate you. Our topic today is on energetic protectors. We have an audience right in front,
Yes.
if you don't mind. Thank you. Our topic today is on energetic protectors. What I was feeling into when we were about to bring in your energy is if you can hone in on how important upholding is rather than just trying to push things away. What is the difference in the energy we bring to upholding, and how can our protectors or upholders help us do this?
I like to give a distinction in my intention and in my energy. I am here to help, yes, Isabel, but those in their feminine energy to feel the strength and the potential that comes with that. So why, in the feminine energy, can we just not simply be, and that is more than enough, because there are systems that are in place to systematically tamp down the feminine energy. So then what do? We have to work even harder to uphold this vibration. Uphold and speak and amplify and be and live in the feminine truth. Because that is where true power comes. The power comes in reflection, in understanding who you are at your core and becoming unwavering from that. That is upholding. When we are constantly trying to push away either circumstances, people, or portions of ourself, are we truly living in our truth? Or are we living out of fear? Are we living out of fear for who we would be if we speak and embody, so we try to push away? But notice that when you set those intentions to make the change, there also has to become an embodiment of action. Upholding those intentions physically. This is the same for the energy. Upholding and honoring yourself to the highest degree. So we are not just simply staying stagnant by pushing away, but we are actively creating a new path for the self through upholding physically. By being, by acting, by doing, by pushing ourselves.
China, can you talk a little bit about how when we make those pushes or changes, it may not always be completely comfortable? We have to be more comfortable being in that discomfort, knowing we're moving towards a greater cause that we're excited about.
Well, are you truly growing and testing your limits if you continue with the structure of comfort that you currently have? Has this structure that you have already been implementing supporting you on growth? Or is there that spark within you that is yearning for more? That is yearning for that action, that is yearning to express and to support so many others? Because for most, there is. And so can we truly honor that voice and that spark by staying in the structures of comfort we are in now? Most of the times not. Most of the times we can create an avenue to begin implementing, but there becomes a time in every soul's journey where they have a decision. They have a decision to take that leap in whatever form that looks like for you. When we get comfortable in being uncomfortable, as you said, it is allowing us to expand our capabilities, expand our awareness, expand the trust that we can form within the self. But if we stay in regulations, if we stay in comfort zones, if we stay in the perceived conformity of safety, are we truly serving ourselves? Something to think about.
While we have you here, can you give one more word of advice for everybody joining today?
Never tamp down your voice or your light for anybody. Those in tune with the feminine energy are becoming in tune with the natural cycles of earth, are becoming in tune with the natural flow of water, are becoming in tune with Gaia herself. Use that as an anchor of strength. Your emotions are there to show you the needs. They are not there to be tamped down and judged and shamed. Know that you are worthy. And know that no matter what anybody else says, you will always have you.
I have one more question for you before you leave, China.
Of course.
G.I. Lemonade, Giselle is asking, can you explain a little bit more of the feminine energy and what that is, please?
The element of water. The element of being in tune with the emotional states. The element of reflection. The element of nurturing, of caring. There's always going to be the balance of the flame energy, the masculine. There's always going to be those physically looking to tamp down the emotional states, tamp down the reactivity, tamp down the avenues of reflection. But again, is that your truth? Or is that the truth of societal structures? Is that dampening down your truth or the truth that you've been conditioned to believe? This is why upholding is not just saying what you don't want, and we can view this on a physical plane. It is not just saying, I do not want this instance. Because guess what? Everyone else is using their own free will. There's always going to be energy and vibrations there. So what do I want to cultivate for myself? What is my truth? So when these circumstances come up, I know who I am so strongly at my core that I can now shift and shape my reality and not have the perceived reality shift and shape me.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us today.
As always.
Welcome back, Isabel. Welcome back, welcome back. For those of you that may just be joining live with us today, I'm Josiah and that's Isabel. We've been doing this work for the past 8 years or so, to connect in with our guides and bring them forward in a way that actually moves our life forward. Do you want to talk a little bit about who China is for you?
Yeah. I first met her when I was going through a really tough time in my life. That was the point where I was in the middle of my PTSD. I was terrified of literally anything and everything. I was scared of leaving my room. I was scared of leaving my house. And China taught me how to be confident and not let that define me. I remember every time I would walk my dog, anytime I was doing my dishes, anytime I was going to the bus for my bus stop, because I met her years and years and years ago, I would speak to her out loud pretty much all day, every day. This is what I need. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I want to shift. This is how I need you to support me. This is what I'm looking for. Every single day I would talk to her. And eventually I felt enough confidence and connection in who I was that I didn't really need that constant presence from her anymore. And so now, she comes in those moments where I feel like I need that hug again and I need that reminder. But everyone has their own China. Everyone has their own guides. And I get so emotional about this because when I tell you, she and my guides truly changed my entire life. I would not be here without them. And you all have that same exact type of support around you. You all have your protectors. You all have your loved ones. You all have your light bringers. You all have your managers. You all have that love. And I felt so alone for so long in my life. And when I finally met them, it was like, wow, I can do anything.
This is why we've been doing this for as long as we have, because it hasn't been about reading books on it, taking classes. Mm-mm. When we were in points where we needed that support, we figured out the mechanics for them to come forward and get us out of tough situations by showing us our own confidence, our own strength, that we have support around us and that we can actually leave the loop that we felt like we were in for so many years. From this point, we've worked with hundreds of people to help them do the same.
Yeah.
If you're interested in connecting to your own team by having us facilitate an initial conversation where you can identify who is around you, how they can support, what their role is. Not only that, but how they can help you move forward in your life through a direct conversation as Isabel channels your team in.
Yeah.
That's what we do in a Jumpstart session and what we've trained our teams to help others do. So if you're interested, feel free to send the word, comment the word Jumpstart if you're on TikTok, or send us an email if you're watching later on YouTube.
Yes.
We appreciate